Okay, so this past week was kind of an interesting week and a bit of an eye-opener for me. I set 3 goals last week: finishing all the relocation paperwork, figuring out and taking care of my student loans, and setting up and updating a resume. That, wow, I thought those were ridiculously easy goals to meet in one week, but they're not as straightforward as they seem. The relocation, I was going to take care of that, but then they had like a $16 online registration fee, and I was like, isn't it just $10 if you do it at the office? So I'm probably going to look up the local DMV and see if I can figure that out. I may have been looking at the wrong page. I might get Amy's help with it. I don't know. But I need to fix that, and I feel like I'm making it more complicated than it needs to be. With my student loans, I tried to fix those for days, and I've gotten one of them taken care of. Sally Mae was hard to get hold of, and I had to try for 3 consecutive nights. The first night, they'd already closed, but they told me what the hours were on the recording, and I'm like, okay, I can do it right the next night. The next night, they had scheduled downtime that they didn't mention in the first recording. So I finally got someone the third night that I called in, and I was like, fix my loans. They're not quite what I need them to be right now. And they were like, voila, fixed. I'm like, yay, I can afford that. So I'm going to pay that as soon as I can. It's not due until the middle of August, so that counts as being super responsible to go ahead and take care of it. And then my resume, I really need to put together a resume. Even a terrible resume at this point would be better than none, because then I could use it to apply for things. Because I have an old resume, but it doesn't even list my most recent job, and it emphasizes my education a lot. That's not necessarily the most important thing to emphasize for some of the jobs I'm looking at, but I'm working on it. And having a job makes it easier to get a job. It just makes it harder to find the time to look for work. I did take my beach trip. That was simplified tremendously by Galen. She and her sister let me crash at their place. She thought her sister wouldn't let me crash, but her sister didn't have any trouble with that. And yeah, that worked out. So I hung out with her and her boyfriend for most of Saturday, and we generally had fun. Caught up a little bit. He had to work like a day from hell on Sunday, but that did mean I got to catch up with Galen and talk about lots of randomness. Overall, I had a good time, and Galen's a good person. I like her, but it was also, it was further than I thought it would be, and I was really tired when I got back. So it wasn't, 100% all roses, but it was worth it, and I'm happy. And it was also a lot cheaper than I expected it to be. Even though I covered some of their food, I didn't have to pay for a motel room because I got to crash with some people. So that was good too. Other than that, just regular stuff is going on. I found out that Amy and Katie both like the opera and the theater and all that kind of stuff, because I was complaining that I had no one to go with, and they were like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, well, I'd like to go to something at some point, and I don't know anything about the local blah blah blah. And they were like, no, we like that stuff, we just don't have anyone to go with. I was like, okay, problem solved. So I may be doing some more theater attending. We've also been talking a little bit about going to the gym, and it turns out I wouldn't have to pay anything for it, and also Amy was interested in doing stuff. I'm not sure what I would do, but I'd find something to do. I've been kind of lonely lately, so I've been looking for people to spend time with and do stuff with, other than on the phone, because that's where I spend all my time lately. But I think I'm going to try to finish up my goals from last week this week, and I considered adding more, but if I couldn't get those done last week, it seems kind of foolhardy to try to do even more this week. Let's finish what I started first. I'll finish the rest later.